Sorry, cut the music. I love this tune, but cut it. 1, 2, 3. All right. How's that for an intro? You don't get bored on this channel, do you? I like to mix it up and keep it real. You know what I mean? I really do. So, what do you have in front of you? You've got the culmination of many, 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 many hours of workbench time. And these are 4 machines that I recently presented through premieres that almost immediately following the premiere, someone snatched them up. On the far left, we've got the free Westinghouse. Just to the right of that, we've got the 301A black long bed. Then we have the hand crank, the 66 red eye. And finally, on the far right, the machine that sold quite some time ago, the Riccar 2020, the Riccar 2925. I'll get it right. So, what I wanted to do in this quick little video premiere is celebrate that these machines, all of which came from my personal collection, all of which are original owner machines, are all sold. And each of these customers approached it a little bit differently. The free Westinghouse on the far left, the customer chose to make payments on it over a very short period of time, which I applaud. I offer that all the time, and I'll say it again and again and again, and people will still say, oh, I didn't know you did that. You make a small deposit on a machine that you see, and that locks that in, that reserves that machine exclusively for you, and then you have up to 120 days to pay off the balance of that machine, and then it's shipped off to you. So it's a great plan. There's no interest on it. There's, you know, nothing complicated about it at all. It just gives you flexibility in your budget so you can get the machine of your dreams. And that's what JODIE from Bodfish, California chose to do with this free Westinghouse Type E from 1944. I should really zoom in on that and give a little bit more credit to that machine as we speak about it. So this fabulous machine, if you haven't seen that premiere, you definitely want to check it out. We had the opportunity to do both leather. You can see the 2 layers of genuine cowhide leather that we went through. Beautiful stitch quality. And then we also did, I believe, was it 4 or 6 layers? 4 layers, I think, of the U.S. Army grade canvas on this incredible machine from 1944. And JODIE just immediately fell in love with it. She doesn't even call it a free Westinghouse per se. She just says, that beautiful golden machine. And it really is. It's spectacular if you kind of zoom in on it a little bit. I'll start down by the stitches, which are absolutely, wow, are you serious? And then we just kind of come up and around that machine a little bit. And I'll wrap up this premiere by giving you a chance to look at each of these machines. I'll take the camera off the tripod, and you can really get close in and personal on these machines and really see just the spectacular beauty of them, and the, you know, I get it now why you know, these folks just went gaga over them. And then the next machine you see to the right of that is that 301A long bed that really got quite a bit of attention. And we did quite a few different sew-offs on that machine, you might remember. I'll kind of zoom in on actually I'll zoom in right over here to the left so I can kind of revisit those again. So I mean, I've got genuine cowhide underneath the presser foot. I think there's 2 layers there. And then on top of that, we did this nylon webbing that's used to tow cars and trucks. We did this, it's kind of like a drapery fabric. You might remember that one. We had all that quilted look on the back when we sewed through it, and we had multiple layers of that as well. You can go back to the video premiere of this machine if you want to see the specifics on that. We did a single layer of genuine cowhide. We did this burlap material, I call it gunny sack material, and I think we had 4 layers of that. And then finally we had my beloved U.S. Army grade canvas, and I believe we did 4 layers of that as well. And I did kind of a goofy sew around in a circle type sew off with that machine, as I love to do. It's just a lot of fun. It shows the ability of that machine to be able to make tight turns, and just being able to utilize the maneuverability of that machine. And this machine, this was probably scooped up about as quick as any of the machines on this workbench right now. This 301A from 1951. Louise, from a really cool town in Kentucky called Breeding, Kentucky. B-R-E-E-D-I-N-G, if you want to look it up and kind of find out about the cool place that she lives. But she contacted me by phone, and I said this in, I think in another premiere, where the quickest way to reach me is on that direct line that I provided as a resource to people around the world. I get calls from all over the world from folks asking questions, making inquiries, and also when I post a machine, reaching out to me very quickly to express interest in it. Well, that's exactly what Louise did from Breeding, Kentucky. She said, Scott, just saw the premiere, which is literally true. The premiere had literally just occurred. She said, I want it. How much? On that Singer 301A long bed, the black ebony machine in front of you right now. And I told her the price, and she said, I'll go above that, because I know how much you put in the machines, your shipping costs, your packing, and all of that. So she gave me an amount even greater than what I was looking for, which I really appreciated. It really speaks to her recognizing the difference in my fully restored machine over, you know, machines you can get anywhere. So I really, I thought that was really honoring, and I think that's just really cool. So that 301A is going to be heading out to Kentucky. That free Westinghouse that we just looked at is going to be heading out to Bodfish, California. Now our third one here just got done premiering this machine, this 1924 Singer 66 red eye hand crank. And you know, a hand crank is a specific fit to an individual. That individual has to really want a hand crank. You know, maybe they want to get off the grid. Maybe they've had an issue where they were working on a project and there was a storm that came up and the electricity went out, and they didn't want to be held, you know, kind of the victim of a natural occurrence and not be able to finish their sewing. So a lot of people will step towards it for that reason. They'll step towards it because it's just really cool. I mean, hand cranks are a very unique way of sewing. You really have to, almost like a treadle machine, you have to develop a rhythm and a kindredness with that machine, unlike stepping on a foot control where it just launches. And people also like the control that they can apply to that hand crank, and have even better control than even the best foot controller can offer. So there's a lot of reasons, there's a lot of motivations for somebody stepping towards an absolutely spectacular machine like this 1924 Singer 66 red eye that I literally just premiered. And the customer that reached out to me, and we'll look at these sew-offs in just a second, we'll kind of zoom in on that presser foot right now. So the customer that approached me has approached me about machines in the past. She's a return customer, and I absolutely love Sharon's outlook. Sharon is from the great state of North Carolina, specifically from Selma, North Carolina, and she just says, I'm not going to go anywhere else. I found you. I know what you put into your machines. I want the best, even if I have to save up for it, which she's never had to do. She's very blessed and able to just step out there in faith and say, I want it, I'm going to get it, as she did previously with a featherweight of mine, and as she did previously with a Husqvarna Viking Type 21 that actually was intended for her husband, so he could do leather sewing and other heavy good type sewing like that. And she reached out really, really quick after the premiere, within hours, and she said, I'm fearful that I waited too long, that hand crank that I just saw premiered is already gone. Did I miss it? I said, there's been about 7 or 8 inquiries, but no one's made a firm, fast commitment to buy it. Do you want to buy it? She said, you know I do. So she said, let me know how much you want. I told her. She said, perfect. I think I know what my shipping is, but let me know what my shipping is, because I know the featherweight that I bought from you and the Husqvarna Viking Type 21 are different machines, different dimensions, different weights. Let me know. So I gave her the final price. She said, perfect. I'm going to send you out a check right away, and it's my machine. Don't sell it to anyone else. Well, as with these other two machines, as with the 301A and as with the Golden Free Westinghouse, there were just a ton of inquiries after I enjoyed sharing that call with Sharon from Selma, North Carolina. And I had to tell each one of those individuals. Some reached out through Facebook Messenger, some called, some ended up reaching out through YouTube, which again, it's not a venue that I check for messages as often as I did when I was only managing about 300 subscribers. We've got almost 6,000 subscribers now, with a lot of inquiries flooding in through YouTube every week, some of which I'm embarrassed to say I don't get to sometimes for months. And you know, sometimes those folks are expressing you know, or presenting a question that's a little bit time sensitive, and I just have to really be apologetic, saying, you know, if you had reached out through Facebook Messenger, I would have gotten the message almost immediately. But I just don't check YouTube as much as I used to anymore, because I'm trying to manage so much. Even with the great resource of Bill O'Rourke as a moderator now on Facebook, he and I are sometimes just swamped, and he's managing other things on his side of the fence as well, with his love of coins and being a resource to people around the world on coins as well. So he and I, you know, between me being tied down to a workbench trying to get a machine done, him managing other things down there in Kissimmee, Florida, even between the two of us, we just can't manage things as timely as we would like to sometimes. And I have to apologize for that, because that is not to take away from the importance of what you folks are reaching out about, whether it's an inquiry about a machine like you see right now on camera, or whether it's a question about one of the machines that you have in your personal collection. So I'm going to throw it out there again to you folks. If any of you are up to the task of saying, I'd love to consider the idea of also being a moderator on Facebook to support Scott and to support Bill in these inquiries that come in, and just helping them manage that that venue, reach out to me, reach out to Bill. If you send me if you send a message through Facebook Messenger, you're going to be able to reach both of us simultaneously. So both of us are going to be able to see that you've got an interest in being a moderator, and we'd love to consider that. So there you go. Another shameless plug as I go through this premiere, talking about these 4 magnificent machines on this workbench that just very recently sold. So once again, as we look at these 4 machines, you know, they didn't last long at all. And I'll finally look at this last machine over here, this Riccar model 2925, that eventually is going to be going out to also the great state of California, to a wonderful lady by the name of Irene. And Irene has just passionately been following what I do. She's really an amazing cheerleader when it comes to encouraging me in the work that I do, and just always kind of jumping out there and you know, just basically saying, wow, that's really cool. And she's not being pretentious. She's basically saying, I love what you do, Scott, and I really enjoy seeing your work every single time it pops up. So Irene, who is in, I had to look it up, El Centro, EL space CENTRO, California, is the proud new owner of this Riccar 2925. And like other customers, to include JODIE, the one that purchased the free Westinghouse, Irene loves the flexibility of my layaway plan. So she is currently still paying off this Riccar 2925, and soon we'll have that balance paid off, and then I will pack up this magnificent machine to head out to her in California as well. Love my California customers. A lot of customers out of the great state of California, and you know, from the north and the middle of the state and the southern portions of the state. Just so many incredible vintage lovers out in that great sunshine state. I'll just say it, I just love California, the weather, you know, especially as we get closer to fall, and you know, we end up getting closer to that time when I have to deal with all that snow again. So I never did show all the other sew-offs on the 301A bed. I don't think I did. Yes, I did. I'm just so scattered today. The one I didn't do yet, duh, Scott, you need more coffee, my friend. The one that I didn't do yet is the hand crank that's going to be heading out to Sharon in Selma, North Carolina. Oh my gosh. I need a proctor or somebody to guide me sometimes, just to say, Scott, you already did that, man. You're actually ahead of yourself. Kudos. Kudos, Scott. Great job, man. So underneath the presser foot, we obviously have 3 layers of genuine cowhide, and if you haven't seen that premiere on this 1924 Singer 66 Red Eye yet, you need to check it out, for goodness sakes. It's absolutely crazy how easily this Singer 66 Red Eye that's heading out to Selma, North Carolina got the job done. Both with the 3 layers of genuine cowhide you can see off there to the left underneath the presser foot, and all the other sew-offs as well. We did 3 layers of this protected full grain leather. We did a single layer of it, which is just embarrassingly easy. We did 8 layers of this burlap, and the machine just went through it like done. We did 8 layers of U.S. Army grade canvas that, again, this, you can look at the premiere that this Singer 66 from 1924, again, just did it like it was a walk in the park. And then finally we did the 4 layers of this hardcore denim. And there wasn't a single sew-off that even remotely challenged this 1924 Singer 66 Red Eye. That's kind of what Sharon said, and when we talked, is I was just amazed at how easy, and she was already talking in past tense, how easy my machine got it done. I love it when customers do that. They don't even have the machine yet in their home, and they're already saying, my machine, my machine. You know, I can't remember that silly little Walt Disney movie where all the birds are crying out at the same time, mine, 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 mine. Many of you probably could post in the chat what movie I'm talking about. My kids loved it. But I love it when a customer is that passionate, that vested, that right away, out of the gate, they're like, it's already my machine, Scott. You know that. I know you haven't gotten the check yet. I know it's not in my house yet, but it's mine. So protect it like mine, okay? And then finally going over to the Riccar 2925 that's going to be heading out to California to my good friend Irene. A number of different sew-offs on there as well. Haven't done it for a while in some of the recent premieres. I need to get back to that again, but you remember on this one I sewed off on that elk hide, and this Riccar, I mean, delivered like, I mean, it was just amazing. Amazing how it went through this. If you know anything about animal hides, whether it's elk or deer or anything else, that stuff, especially after it's been cured and processed, is like leather on steroids. It's ridiculous how hard it is to get through that stuff. The whole idea of putting it in those big vats and all that and preparing it is to preserve it and to make it resistant to wear and just to make it as bulletproof as you can possibly make it, because it's a treasure and you want to preserve it. So man, oh man, it was just crazy how easily this Riccar 2925 that's heading out to Irene got through that task. But that wasn't the end of it. We then went over, and I'll just kind of zoom out a little bit and we'll look at some of these other sew-offs as well that we did on Irene's machine. You know, we did, again, this burlap We did 8 layers of that stuff. And again, this Riccar 2925 just went through it like, I mean, just simple. Well, what's the challenge? And then we did, it's absolutely insane, we did 8 layers of U.S. Army grade canvas. You can see it right here in the shot. And we didn't do a standard straight stitch. We didn't do a standard zigzag stitch. I chose to do one of the decorative stitches that's engineered into this Riccar 2925. And again, if you haven't seen that premiere, you need to check it out, because this is a really rare and unique machine, because it was designed specifically for school applications, and it was designed to be used in home economic classes back in the day. So if you haven't seen that premiere, you absolutely need to see it. I think that's really one of the cool things that really intrigued Irene as she was looking at this Riccar, is that it had that unique history behind it. It was an inspiration to young sewers back in the day to get them totally stoked about the idea of enjoying sewing. And there's a closer looking at that elk hide. And here's some of the other decorative stitches that I did as well in that premiere on this Riccar 2925 that's going to be heading out to Irene real soon. So the versatility and the strength of this 1-amp machine that was designed specifically, you can see it on the machine right over here, designed for school use, was just absolutely mind-blowing. I got so much great feedback on this machine. If I can ever come across another one, I'm going to scarf it up real quick, as long as it's got those original owner ties as this one does. So all of these machines, in my opinion, have breaking rights, and all of these new owners of these machines, from the far left with that free Westinghouse Type E from 1944 to that Singer 301A long bed that's going to be heading out to Louise in Breeding, Kentucky, that 1951 model. And did I mention, I'm going back to the free Westinghouse, that's going to be heading out again to Bodfish, California. What a cool name! If anyone wants to Google that real quick and post it in the chat, any interesting facts about Bodfish, California, or Breeding, Kentucky, where that 301A is going, I certainly welcome it. And I'll send you something special if you do. If you don't have time during the premiere, then post it on Facebook in conjunction with this premiere announcement, and I'll send you something special. You know, or this, just to the right of that, this 1924 Singer 66 Red Eye. Absolute bragging rights when it comes to just how magnificent that machine is. That's going to be heading out to Selma, North Carolina. And on the far right, certainly not last and not least, this Riccar 2925 that's going to also be heading out to California and is going to be, I know, cherished by Irene, who's purchasing that machine. All of these machines in front of you have gone through that funnel on my workbench. All of these machines have gone under that scrutiny of that microscope and under that surgical scrutiny of what I take each and every machine through, whether I'm selling it or whether it's been sent to me like Margaret's featherweight that came all the way from Santa Rosa, California from Goodwill. If you haven't seen that video yet, you want to check that one out as well. So I'm just absolutely humbled by the incredible response to the recent machines that I offered for sale. From, you know, again, JODIE's, that free Westinghouse Type E from 1944, LOUISE's Singer 301A long bed black machine from 1951 that's heading out to Breeding, Kentucky, and that Singer 66 Red Eye from 1924 that's heading out to a repeat customer, SHARON, out in Selma, North Carolina. And finally, a new customer with that Riccar 2925 out in California as well. That Irene, that's going to be just so stoked as soon as she pays off the balance in that machine and gets that out there. And I should mention, and I failed to mention, a big fail here, because I'm just so excited about this stage. And today I'm actually going to be packing up that free Westinghouse so it can head out to California to meet JODIE, who is absolutely, I can't wait to see that golden machine in person. But I failed to mention, and I'm going to kind of move that direction a little bit, I failed to mention with regard to this Riccar 2925, this is not a machine that Irene is buying for herself. This is a machine that she is buying specifically for her mom. She loves her mom and wants to get this as a special gift for her mom. And I think that is way, way, way cool that she's willing to do that for her mom. You know, it's not even specifically centered around Mother's Day. It's just, it's a special way to honor her mom from the get-go. So, this is just fun, isn't it? It's fun to see all these machines and knowing all of them are going to be leaving the workshop real soon and heading to their final home where they can enjoy a life of sewing with that new owner. So, JODIE, with your free Westinghouse, congratulations. LOUISE, with your Singer 301A long bed, congratulations. SHARON, thank you again for your faith and confidence in me and coming back again after buying a featherweight, buying that Type 21 Husqvarna for your husband, and again seeing the value in coming back to my workbench to add this incredible 66 red eye from 1924 to your personal collection. And congratulations to Irene for seeing the value in investing in this Riccar 2025, this really cool school edition that was used in home economic classes, specifically out in New York, and offering this as a special gift to your mom. All of you are heroes in the vintage circle as far as I'm concerned. And I just want to thank all of you for investing in what I do. So who's going to be next? Because I'm going to have other machines coming up for sale. And as you've learned from these real smart people, whether it's JODIE or LOUISE or SHARON or Irene, if you see a machine pop up as a premiere that's up and coming, and you just look at that machine and you go, I want it, don't wait. Each one of these ladies, if they had waited just a little bit longer, they would not be being announced as the new owners of these fabulous machines. They would have missed out. So don't you make a mistake and hit pause and say, yeah, I really want it, but I'm going to wait just a little bit, and I'm sure it'll still be there. Don't make that mistake. All right, I'm going to end with some other good music as I take this off the tripod to get a little bit closer to these magnificent machines that are going to be heading out to all their various locations. I'm trying to pick a song real quick here. All right, I didn't mention that opening song was called Majesty. And this song is called Think Tank. So let's get off the tripod and take a closer look at these magnificent vintage machines that now have new owners. I love it.